work forces are the same that burn crosses, which is repeated many times throughout the line. Do they think like they're like when they burn crosses, they mean like, oh man, AmericanSongwriter.com behind the meaning of Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name. Yeah, I mean, it's literally about Rodney King. You justify those that died by wearing the badge. They're like, oh man, goes hard because I really like that. Like they're saying the this is a song about police brutality, and they're like pro police brutality. That's so stupid, dude. Rage Against the Machine went woke. This is what I was referencing. Yes. I hate that some of my favorite 90s bands became filthy communists. Rage Against the Machine was the last band I thought I would see turn commie. It's like Rage Against the Machine went from fighting the system to telling you to give, and men can give birth. Forced birth in a country where black birth givers experience maternal mortality 2 to 3 times higher than the white birth givers. You either die young or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. So perfect. You better do what they tell you. This is so disappointing. Their song was a motivator for me during their past year. It's so stupid. It's so incredible. It's so dumb. Where was the video of those MAGA protesters dancing to Rage Against the Machine? I don't know, but this kind of stupidity makes me mad, dude. I don't know. I just like, it makes me angry to see how stupid humans can be. I don't know if you feel the same way as I do. Maybe it's just like a unique thing to me, but like when I see those dumb, sad, pathetic, old, but it just makes me so mad. It makes me so incredibly mad. You know what I mean? Oh, let's watch the Mario movie from Meat Canyon.
Wait, will this have spoilers? Because I haven't seen it.
Oh my god!
I haven't either.
Rainbow Road.
Spoilers, Mario. What kind of plot twists are you
Will
gonna
this
be
have
shocked
spoilers?
by in a Mario movie?
Maybe Bowser gets the girl. I don't know.
What? It's Mario. It's
I
like
don't
the
know.
most
They might have changed
basic.
it up a little.
No, I refuse to play along with this.
Rainbow Road, dude.
I know. This is a nostalgia overload.
So I can play
Mario. My diaper is so
a lot of different
full.
options. Bishop D4 is one I'm thinking of.
Mario.
5, knight C3.
This is stinky.
What did you just tweet?
Oh my god.
Wait.
What did you just tweet? Hey! What did you just tweet?
Oh my god!
Huh?
Look at his hat. They captured it
you.
D4,
perfectly.
knight takes, pawn takes.
This one's hitting me right in the childhood.
Yeah, okay. Yes, it's a me. Woohoo! And just watch the movie, all right? Just focus on. Remember that? You remember seeing that in the games?
Yeah, I just think the pacing feels a bit off for me, you know.
What did you just say?
I said the pacing feels a bit off. Yeah. Feels a bit rushed is all. You know, it's a queen, I don't know.
Oh my god. The mushroom. The mushroom. He has the mushroom.
I haven't been happy since I was 7 years old.
I mean, it's a Mario movie. You're in a children's movie, you ape. I mean, do you just go into children's movies and complain the whole time? What are you gonna do? Break down Paw Patrol next?
Everyone in here is in their 30s. So.
I'm actually 42.
Oh, you piece of.
I mean, everyone in here is in their 30s. I mean, look around. It's true.
Not everybody's.
You know, I mean, it is.
Not everybody's 30. Listen.
No, that's in poor taste.
Mario
I didn't mean to say. Someone just dropped me back in my childhood.
Just
Knight
listen.
C3. Queen takes.
You're gonna gobble this movie up.
Knight takes.
You're gonna say that it was
Knight
everything
takes.
you wanted out of a
Then knight
Mario
takes.
film, okay? Because it is.
Alright, so we take here.
I am a low-stakes movie meant to get you to buy more product, and that's what you're gonna do.
I know, I certainly am.
Shut up!
Ooh. Okay, buddy. You have 0 lives left.
I just wanted a nice night out with my son. All right, I'm just glad he likes it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Maybe I go C3 now.
Whatever.
Now that we,
My diaper is so stinky.
Okay, Luigi. Let's go visit the Donkey Kong. Alright, here we go.
I kinda like
Be sure to
C3.
get a new diaper on. Because you have to
then
take
we
a big
capture.
stick.
And if
Hey,
this
what's he
shows, like
typing?
Oh my
D4.
god, a Koopa!
What's he typing back there?
I wish
Bishop.
Bowser got Peach's.
Oh, you.
A4, B4.
This is
I'll have
very
to play.
good. Meat Canyon, another Meat Canyon banger.
Yeah, maybe I should have castled first to avoid the bishop b5. Probably should have castled first to avoid bishop b5. Students protest against right-wing speaker. Betray, divorce tape. Listen
If
to
you
this.
think that this is a healthy exchange of ideas, you're out of your mind.
Wait, what? Why is it showing that? Oh wait, it does show that, doesn't it? Well, that might be a slight error.
Students have been making national headlines protesting controversial speakers on campuses
recording.
across the country.
Okay. Take with the pawn. Bishop b5.
That is at James Madison University in Virginia.
that's
Just on
what he'll
Wednesday,
play.
students were demonstrating
B6.
against a conservative speaker who they accused of spreading hateful anti-transgender messages. This month alone, we've seen protests like this from coast to coast, protests that have led to a debate over the state of free speech on college campuses.
Such student protests have sparked a bigger debate about whether kids these days no longer have the appetite to debate controversial issues on campus.
Do you think kids are less able to take or listen to opposing views now?
No, I don't think they're less able to listen to opposing views. I just think they take less as they get older and realize that hate speech is hate speech and free speech.
Dude,
Yeah,
this is
might just
literally
castle.
reigniting.
Queen takes
Oh my
b2,
god, I'm getting
knight d2.
flashbacks, dude. This is giving me PTSD. I'm losing my
Bishop
mind. It's the
b7.
same. College campuses don't have free speech. It's like, no, dog. You're talking about intentional provocateurs that are going to college campuses.
What, like
That's an
knight b3?
insane thing to say.
Queen is
It
kinda-
wouldn't happen for speakers that want to say that openly in such terms about black people, except it will. It's going to
'Cause if you
happen
go b3,
over and over
bishop
again
b5.
because as boundaries are crossed like this, as this
a4,
is
bishop
normalized,
a6.
we're going to get back to those, like, style speakers propping up left and right. These guys also aren't like lecturers. They're not regular people. They're paid provocateurs. They're getting paid a lot of money to say this kind of thing. And it's not a debate at all. I completely disagree with you. I've been doing this for a lot longer than you have. I've actually duked it out with these in the real world, including the guy that they're covering right now. I have no issue debating these, okay? I don't. But I also understand that this is not about free speech at all. It's not. It's just
Here's
about
a
like
check.
trying to make the lives of students worse.
Free speech, and I do believe the two things are very different from each other.
These speakers are often brought to campus by outside conservative groups, such as the Intercollegiate Studies Institute and the Young Americas Foundation. Then the university has to figure out how to deal with the backlash. Afterward, those groups sometimes post videos of the event in which students are humiliated.
It's not a coincidence, right, that these events keep unfolding the
This is
way
probably
that they
worse
do.
for me.
It's a
I
deliberate
did something
strategy
wrong
on the
here.
part of these organizations to try to find a
guess
controversial speaker,
just right
try
here,
to provoke
if I
the
could
liberal students
do
into having a
anything
reaction
differently.
and making sure all of that gets filmed and edited in a certain way that makes those students look as bad as possible.
Yeah.
ISI's president told CNN
probably
that
should
it
have
has
taken
no
this.
institutional
Just
strategy
chop,
to provoke
take.
backlash, but it picks speakers who are substantial and provocative.
Just give this
Yap
pawn up,
said it
maybe
brings
queen-
speakers who
maybe
engage
queen
in healthy
d2.
exchange of ideas with students with opposing.
Like, if you think that this is a healthy exchange of ideas, you're out of your mind. Like,
b8.
oh, yeah. I love having a healthy exchange of ideas. The more these unhinged losers feel galvanized,
castle
the
here,
more
though.
they'll push the boundaries. Always. And provides zero educational value.
Take on b2, I take with
I think
check,
we
and then
do
I play
need to
knight
step
d2.
back and say, what do we want out of this conversation? There needs to be some kind of reason to put it in front of people. And I think very often what gets skipped in these invitations is in place of value, you get controversy.
More than 11,000 people signed an online petition against Knowles and 2 other conservative speakers invited to Pitt. The school went forward with the event.
Who's invited speakers to campus? Young Americans for Freedom, a litany of young Republican institutions.
Guess I will go b3
that
here.
get funding from billionaires, and they get funding from their wealthy alumni that want these guys to come in. They usually have pretty solid speaker budget too, and the alumni will literally
Just
double the
maybe-
speaker fees. So like, they're not. These aren't even just like going to these schools out of the kindness of their
Knight
heart
c3
because they
to e2.
truly care about like good debate, spirited debate. They're actually going to these college campuses because they're getting paid like $50K to $100K. Okay.
Events, saying it upholds the principles of protected speech and expression, though that speech can contradict the school's values. Knowles had been scheduled to debate Professor Deidre McCloskey, who's trans. But McCloskey pulled out the week before, telling CNN that Knowles was not a serious person. Then ISI, the sponsor, offered trans writer Charlotte Clymer $10,000 to sub in. She said no.
$10,000 is a lot.
I think, like, my controversial opinion is that, like, I don't think trans people should be forced to do these things. And I don't think trans people should do these things. You should have, like, a cis person defend these things. You know what I mean? Why not? Because the other side is not impacted emotionally from the narrative if they are also cis. That's the unfortunate reality. Not saying that trans people are not capable of doing such things. They do it every day. But, like, no matter what happens, debate in the way that, like, a lot of these understand it is only going to be ostensibly winning if they are not emotional at all. And the only way to make sure that there is no emotional, there's no emotional consequence is if you don't personally feel under attack by the rhetoric. Why do conservatives think emotions matter in debates? Not like anger or frustration is diminishing the points that one is making. The whole purpose of debates is rhetoric. Debates are never about the truth. It's about which side is able to overpower the other side. It's
He's
not
gonna
about
have
good
moves
talk.
like queen
It's
a5,
about talking
queen a6,
points,
bishop b5,
knowing them, and being able to carefully deconstruct
b4.
narratives. But it's never really about Socratic principles.
This knight
or
will
anything
be
like that.
attacked.
It's just like a
So
dumb
if I go
lie
queen
that
d1
has been
immediately,
told to you by like other debate bros and people who
may
do it for
be ideal,
funsies or
although
for
maybe
their
queen
career.
h-
And I say this as someone who has debated a lot.
$10,000 is a lot of money. That would have paid off my car.
I think the number one thing that school should do is just like, hey man, if you're putting our students at harm, we care about our trans students, then yeah, we're not allowing you. Like, I'm sorry. That's insane. Come with like some real, you know what I mean? That's it.
It's a very tricky position. This bishop is bad though. If we could keep this bishop out,
What does that sum say to you?
It says they're willing to pay anything
if we can keep this bishop out of b5,
to grow their
then
entertainment enterprise.
But I guess he could always just go
I don't
here
know why
and go
trans
here.
folks are expected to accept the premise that our humanity is up for debate.
Okay, what if you go queen
If
d3?
it were a debate on whether or not to allow racial segregation back in
I guess
society,
then he would go there,
we wouldn't have a
take.
debate about that.
You could
That
have
would
queen
be
trade, rook
unacceptable.
c1. That's okay. It's not that bad.
You know what? I actually will say this. I think that that's an unacceptable thing to
Let's go
debate
queen
about.
d3.
But because of the boundaries on the legislative side, racial segregation is, in many respects, discussed when it's in the criminal justice system.
Gay libertarian podcaster Brad Palumbo agreed to debate Knowles.
Mr. Palumbo, it's awesome that you could come here on such short notice. How much did they pay you to do it?
A lot.
Knowles, through a spokeswoman, declined an interview with CNN. And despite its emphasis on free speech, ISI demanded media not film more than the debate's opening remarks.
Huh. Interesting. I wonder why. Oh, possibly because they want to control what gets out, what gets released from the conversation. They want to control every aspect of this production because that's all this is. It's a media thing. If a Hollywood company came to your college campus and was like, we're going to make your students perform pranks on one another, the college campus would be like, no, like that's crazy. We're just going to like come and own your trans students openly. But it's okay when Michael Knowles does it because the college campuses have Young Americans for Freedom foundations and they want him to come. It's so stupid.
Marks. But once the event got going, no one ushered the media out.
Michael Knowles is a big speaker. He should be able to speak and have freedom of speech, and sadly that's kind of being shut down in modern society, as we can see outside.
Do you think the point of this debate is to try...
I hate that, by the way. Like, that kind of stuff is annoying, for the record. I'm not gonna lie. If it were left up to me in a perfect world, I would only have like the most annoying debate line up in single file and just, have the perfect talking points ready to go and only let them loose on the likes of Michael Knowles.
This is the only thing that's annoying about
and
rook
then
c1,
not
but then you
even
could go
do
rook c2.
another peep outside of that. And then on top of that, I would first send in, there would be like multiple wave attacks, okay? You put the most debates up front, they do the talking points, and they wear you down, okay? And then I would bring in like the Chad jocks to be like, dog, why are you even discussing this? And then that way they would also feel ritualistically humiliated. And then that's it. And I'd have zero people outside complaining about Michael Knowles being there. In the perfect universe, the way to receive these Michael Knowles on college campuses would be obviously not at all. But if they are going to come regardless, then it would be not to do like a massive protest against them.
Try to convince
Position
people
is
in this room or to convince people on the internet.
I think it's both. I mean, the goal of the event is not to make some uneducated
I still
leftist
go Rick
kid,
D1.
Feel like, I hope there's leftist people here that ask.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. It's so that you feel intellectually superior because the person on your side, who is like a trained media professional, can like bully
Just
someone
to avoid,
who they
like,
have
maybe
not
Bishop
only
B5, I don't need to
rhetorical
take it,
power
but I probably
over,
do.
but also like literally logistically speaking, the format is the speaker on the podium dunking on a hysterical college freshman.
I should probably yeah, Bishop C1. He wants to play Bishop B2. So I think I need to play Rook B1. I will play that just to guard that square. Can consider playing B4 too if he doesn't move the bishop. B4, bishop takes B4, A3. What happens there? Yeah, he has to be careful. I think he needs to play maybe Queen A5. So Queen A5. Where is he going with the queen? Yeah, Queen A5 makes sense. Also, extra pressure on the knight, to where maybe I need to play knight E2, bishop E5. Yeah, queen B4. That makes sense. So yeah, what happens? Knight E2, bishop B5. Knight E2, bishop B5. Actually, not loving that. Not loving that. So the bishop can move with tempo. He only has 2 tempo moves, bishop D7, bishop E8. And then my knight is under attack. So let's see here. I could play queen E3. And if bishop D7, then I have rook D3. And the idea is to not move this knight and give up a square. Also, I don't want to trade anything due to these pieces being kind of awkward. For one, the bishop is just stuck here now because the queen is in the way. So the queen has to move for this bishop to have any squares that are legal. So this is the point. I'm playing rook D3. On bishop E5, I just take it. No problem. And maybe I play rook D2 and rook D1 and H3 and just be happy with my defense. And okay, bishop A4 is a blunder. I just take it. So really the only move is bishop D7 or bishop E8. And then I would play rook D3, defending my knight. And seems to hold. It's not exactly the type of position I would want out of a Caro con advance, but I'll go over the game after this. So let's see, bishop e8, rook d3, and we'll continue. Maybe I put the rook on d1, etc., etc. I can maybe I play g4, g5, because this bishop, you know, my king can go to g2 pretty easily. And I'll just start my own attack over here. So he wants to double up. So what happens? 92. Maybe just rook d1, double up, 92, rook c2. Okay. Knight. So rook d1, rook c2. He's taking the a pawn. So I play rook d2. D2, take. Kind of annoying. Let's go g4. Wait, 92 was not my idea. Fuck. I wanted to... This is not the order. I wanted to play g4, rook c8, but I don't know. I'm playing badly now. For some reason, I'm in time pressure. But I wanted to play... Yeah, I want to play g4, and then rook c8, and then 92. But okay. It's the same position. Okay. Just rook d2 here? I don't know, what is he doing? Rook d2, bishop take, rook c1, take, king g2. I mean, it's just fine, right? Or does he have like bishop c1, knight take, rook take, check, king g2? Should be fine. This would be an annoying move if this wasn't here, but what we're going to do, if bishop takes, bishop c1, queen d3, we should be fine. You could also take with the queen and then bishop c1 and move the rook. I don't know, rook d1 or something. Boom, boom. So, wait, what? Like queen e2. So say bishop takes, queen e2, bishop c1, and like rook d1. You're still fine there, of course. But yeah, which one's better? Rook takes e2, bishop c1. Kind of prefer the rook on d file, on the d file. So maybe take with the queen. Maybe we take with the queen. Okay, of course he could play rook c1. Take on c1, rook c1, king g2. Everything seems to be fine there. Yeah, you could do that. Or we play rook d1. Yeah, okay, rook c2 is coming. But I have queen a6 here. Is queen a6 fine? With like a3. If he goes rook here, I take. Because I want to get into the back line a little bit. He's going to play rook c2. Let's do it. Queen a6. If queen c3, I have rook d3. If rook d3... If rook c3... would have to calculate that.
Oh my God! She said Candace Owens came back and said Steven Crowder's a monster.
yeah,
Changed my
rook
mind.
c2.
16 minutes? Are you fucking kidding
That
me?
just happened. And before we get to it, I just want to back up and tell you why we are discussing this breaking news, because it's occurred to me that there are some people out there who believe that to be a conservative, what it means is that we become tribal and we defend other conservatives even when they do things that are wrong. That we don't discuss things that are horrible on our own side because we need to just make sure that we score wins in other ways, and that is wrong. That to me is the exact opposite of why I have this platform. I am not tribal. I want to expose things when they are bad on the left, and I will also expose things when they are bad on the right.
God, I can't get enough of hog infighting though. You know, that shit is spicy, it's delicious, it's decadent, it's a fucking treat. Steven Crowder is fucking awful. A giant piece of shit. A racist person, and most likely deeply closeted, and you know, probably that kind of repression has a incendiary effect on his commentary that makes it way worse. Okay? Then on the other hand, you have Candace Owens, one of my favorites. I mean, back in 2016, she used to run an anti-Trump website. She actually successfully sued the Connecticut School Board for being victim of a hate crime. I believe they were bullying her for being black, and then turned around and was like, let me show you exactly how anti-black you could be and make a lot of money doing it. So now you got two fucking demons just getting in the fucking mud. Ooh, fighting one another.
Wait, what
He
happens?
literally inserted me into his divorce a couple of days ago, and
Rook check,
his
king G2.
wife and family
If he
are
takes
now
my rook, I
speaking
take
out
his
regarding
queen.
that video in which he told
Take.
people publicly that his wife was leaving him. You remember this. He chose wrong, and he essentially made it sound as if he did not want his marriage to end, but his
Right.
wife simply wanted to leave. Well, she has responded by giving video, and I want to prep you. I want you to know this is horrific video. It is very difficult to watch. It's especially difficult to watch because in this footage, she is 8 months pregnant. And the video essentially reveals just how emotionally abusive he has been. And she is alleging that he has been emotionally abusive to her. And this video all but confirms it. So let's first get to the footage. I'm just going to allow you to watch it in its entirety.
I drew a boundary.
We're gonna skip this part because we already watched it. It's pretty fucked up.
Maybe I swing my
I mean,
rook
he's
over.
being an abusive shithead. It's kind of wild. Candace Owens hates fucking Steven Crowder so much she issued a trigger warning. Like, what do you mean? Candace Owens basically verbally did the same thing that Steven Crowder did when he like recreated the George Floyd execution. Actually, I take it one step further. Steven Crowder is a racist donkey piece of shit asshole who should not have a fucking platform due to just overall having horrendously fucked vibes. But certainly on top of that, because that's how fucked his vibes are. On top of that, everything he says is just like awful. Like it's so hacky. It's so unfunny. He tries so fucking desperate to be funny, and the only thing he can come up with is like humor from a 14-year-old who's been on too many fucking forums. And yet Candace Owens made an entire documentary about George Floyd and how he like deserved to die. Okay? Now you're watching Candace Owens literally issue trigger warnings when they were so united on the anti-black shit.
So yeah, it's overall a positive thing, and honestly, I've probably needed a little bit of rest. It comes in the form of having my chest cracked open.
Obviously, he had the surgery and then his lung collapsed. And here is us praying for him, praying that he actually gets better.
Before we leave, I just have to, this one off the subject for a minute. Our pal, Steve Crowder, who makes the best ashtrays in the country,
Truly.
is in the hospital fighting for his life. And he's really come close. He's come close to the dark edge of things. And I just want to say that crazy as he is, we love him and we're thinking about him. That, we hope he makes it back.
You're a better man than I am.
Well, that's true.
I was actually just looking forward to the show being over so that I could text him and say, hope you don't make it, pal.
Actually, this is a real story. Last night I had to go for a drive because it's a long story, but I had to burn down gas to take my car into the shop. And so I was going to smoke a cigar and, I was going to say my nightly prayers. I thought, I should probably pray.
These guys love gars, dude. They love smoking those lung darts. You know what I mean? Just a couple of fucking guys,
lung
dude.
darts,
being
baby.
bros, being fucking chill. Why is it so villain coded? Like, I just don't understand. Couple of fucking guys smoking some gars, dude. Fucking hell yeah. This is what dreams are made of.
Just
Or
some
nightmares.
lung darts, brother.
You're a pussy.
For Crowder, because he's in this. I thought, what's great? I'm going to light up one of the cigars that Crowder sent me.
Yeah.
And Crowder, this guy who's a complete maniac, he sent me these beautiful cigars. And I was like, oh, pal, I'm going to send you some cigars right away from my humidor. Haven't sent him a single thing, but that guy, he, really a generous fellow. And doesn't get enough credit.
I actually did text him and say that we were praying for him at great risk to our souls.
and if he dies, I personally will kill him. Right?
And yet, according to his wife, this
Bro,
was
the
an
fake
elective
laugh.
surgery, really a cosmetic surgery, because Stephen didn't like the way that his chest looked because he had a sunken chest. It was not something that was actually required to save his life. And yet, we see that same pattern of behavior.
you could just start
Stephen
pushing these
garnering
pawns.
a ton of
I feel like that
affection
might
and
be
prayers from his followers.
Hey, you had a chussy.
Purporting to be the victim, when in fact the facts don't line up with his narrative. The second portion that I'd like to point to is where it says Hillary was not.
Okay, listen, he got a little top surgery. You don't have to fucking rip him that hard. You know what I mean? Let my man live. He got a little gender affirming top surgery. Okay, it's fine. It's just that he doesn't like it when other people do it. Yeah, what's up? Goddamn, so interesting that the recipient of gender affirming care hates it when trans people do it.
That Stephen hired a divorce attorney. This stands in stark contrast to what he told his followers when he said how hard divorce was and how difficult and horrific it had been and how he really didn't want.
Wait, is that really gender affirming care? Yes, just like what I do with my fucking hairline and the medication I take for my hair is gender affirming care. That quite literally is gender affirming care. Yes. It's literally, all jokes aside, that is gender affirming care, gender affirming health care in the form of top surgery. It's a medical procedure.
On it, and just, Texas is a no-fault divorce state. What is the truth here? I don't know. Obviously, right now we have his wife's word versus Stephen's word, but given my personal experience with Stephen, I am very much inclined to believe his wife. Now, I'd like to get in some other portions of this article, which I think are really important. In audio files and text messages that I reviewed, Stephen Crowder admits to some of his faults, which include a volcanic temper, repeatedly and at times regretfully But according to sources that I spoke to who are familiar with their relationship, Crowder's admissions often came after a sustained period of mental and emotional abuse, and he didn't seem to be able to control his impulses. That, again, is something that I have seen personally. Very bizarre that he would insert me into a divorce announcement and purport that I somehow
bad,
extorted
man.
him. It's very bizarre in the way that he attacked the Daily Wire, and there just seemed to be a lot of
King
signs that he is
H3
not able to
takes
control
on
his
H2.
emotions. And so the question that I will ask is how many people
Or he
are
could
going
probably
to
just take
allege
on
abuse from Steven Crowder
H2 with
before
the
we
rook,
listen,
honestly.
before we stop saying
yeah.
he's one of us because he says things that he agrees
Boom,
with. We purport
H3
that
takes
we
with the
are the
rook,
party of family values.
and
How can you look at that video and defend him in any way? How
Right.
can you look at that video and not roundly condemn this and say this is not something that actually represents the things that we believe? The writer goes on to say, like so many things in his life in recent years, Crowder's temper and paranoia led him to destroy his relationships with Sir Shapiro, Boring, and others at the Daily Wire. Again, going back to the pattern, it's not just the Daily Wire. Again, going back to the pattern, it's not just the Daily Wire. It's David Landau. It's Sven the Computer. It's Jared Monroe, formerly known as Not Gay Jared. People that are locked into NDAs and are not allowed to speak about the abuse that they endured by Steven Crowder. It's Owen Benjamin. It's now his wife. Do you believe that all of these various different parties, the majority of them who have never spoken to each other, I've never spoken.
Owen Benjamin is literally like a virulent racist. Like openly so, by the way. Like straight up. Like not even like hiding it type shit. You know what I mean? Like he makes Steven Crowder look like Steven Crowder is masking his racism.
In Sven the Computer, I've never spoken to David Landau. I've never spoken to Hillary Crowder. I've never spoken to Owen Benjamin. Do you believe that all of these people, as is the paranoid narrative that Steven Crowder is presenting, are working maybe in collusion with big tech to try to destroy him? Or do you believe it's plausible that Steven Crowder is just a monster? Yashar Ali also added in this article, in reviewing documentary evidence related to their marriage, Steven Crowder...
Bro, yeah, Candace Owens hates Steven Crowder so much, she said believe women. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Appears to be obsessed with the idea that his wife is only interested in him for money.
It's a bit weird when, I mean, this man is basically a beacon of practicing what he preaches. And like now all the people that are also kind of preaching that exact same shit are turning on him when it's been brought to light. You know what I mean? Interesting.
Money. Hillary Crowder started dating him well before he became famous and wealthy. He was making less than $100,000 a year when they got married. Again, the Crowder narrative never seems to line up with the reality. In short, as I have said, I believe Steven Crowder is an absolute monster, and I encourage all of the other people that he has victimized to find their strength to speak out now. By the way, his lawyer offered to me that we could both agree to a ceasefire if I agreed that I would never speak about Steven Crowder again. And to him, I would publicly like to say, your client doesn't have that kind of money to keep Candace Owens from speaking out about things that I find to be absolutely
You can't silence
despicable.
Candace
And that's all I'm
Owens,
going
dude.
to say
You can't
about
do it.
that.
God, they're fighting in the most annoying ways possible. Just like leak more dirt. What are you doing?
Leak some dirt. Let's go. All right, so he played knight c6, I played knight f3, and then he played e6. And then I played bishop e3. And then he played knight to h6. Which is a move. I should have played c3 or bishop takes h6. Okay. I played bishop to b5, which was an inaccuracy. Inaccuracy. It's only 5 games with a, well, I mean, a 2400 played it, but led to a draw, and then most of them lead to losses. So, not that good of a move. You should have played c3. Then he could have played knight f5, and you could play bishop d4. And then he goes bishop d7, and then you go a3, and then he goes a5, and then you go bishop b2, and then bishop e7, and then castle, and bishop d3. So it's what should have happened, but that is not what happened. Because I don't know theory. up to this point. My opponent plays knight h6, which is some theory. And, well, you could also take on h6, g takes h6, and then play bishop b5. And he could take on c5, and you could castle. I kind of like this. I kind of do like this. This is more my style. a4, rook g8, queen d3, rook g6, knight c3. Fully developed, and capture, capture. Oh, I mean, the position is pretty ugly. But it's not too bad. Should have done that. Let's see, where did I blunder though? Because this is all still pretty equal, pretty equal, pretty equal, pretty equal. b1, queen b4, knight to e1. Oh yeah, so this is like a move that I did not mean to make. I meant to play g4, which is also a blunder, so never mind. g4 is actually more of a blunder. Yeah, so this g4 idea is just not the positional move. I guess the positional move is to play knight e1, stopping the pieces from coming into c2, and then after bishop b5, rook d2. We kind of have a mess of, and he can go for this draw if he wants, but it's already too messy that I have to accept this draw. And queen a6, rook c2. Oh, I had knight e1, rook c3, king g2, queen e7. Just try to keep it simple. Try to consolidate. Try to consolidate. Whoops. But yeah, theoretically, I made an error. I mean, essentially right here, I made an error by playing knight f3. Like, more theoretical is bishop b5. And then you play e6, and then you can go b4. I believe that's the case, right? Let me check real quick. So you go e4. You go into the advanced variation. They play c5. You take the pawn. And then they play knight c6. Bishop b5 penning, and they play e6, and then, oh no, b4 is not the main line, so you play bishop e3, and then if they want to, okay, 1 second, so let's see, what happened in the main line? So in the main line, they went e6, bishop e3, and then he played knight h6, so in this particular variation, you go like this, bishop e3, and if they go knight h6, well, the engine is saying take it, which is maybe the best option, and play knight c3, let him take the pawn, play knight f3. If he goes rook g1 g8, you just castle. You play queen d3. If rook g6, knight e2, knight d4, g3. This is an okay position for white. But theoretically, it's saying you want to play c3, knight f5, bishop d4, bishop d7, take c6, bishop takes c6, play something like knight f3, knight d4, and queen d4. So c3, knight f5, bishop d4, right? See, knight f5. Yeah, knight f5, bishop d4, bishop d7, bishop d7, bishop b5. It says you could take on e5, but oh wait, bishop. No, wait. Wait, what's going on here? So yeah, this is the line I was talking about. There we go. Knight f3, knight d4, and then here you could play queen d4. Queen c7, b4, b6, cb, ab, castle. So yeah, queen c7, b4, b6, take, and castle. Bishop b7, knight bd2, castle. And you have a game. So you said bishop b7, knight bd2, castle, and yeah, play chess.